Hello everyone, my name is Joseph Santiago, and today I'll be going over creating the Rocket Kit Beginner. We're going to do this by parts, so this will be creating one of the parts, and I'll walk through that. This will be creating the rocket nose cone. So walk through it with me. So first, we're going to be using Onshape, which is a CAD program or computer-aided design program. It's completely free and it's web-based. So all you have to do is open up onshape.com. There we go. And you'll get put onto this page, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit sign up now if you don't have an account already. For example, your first name, your last name, and then your email address. Now, if you're a student, then you might need your parent or guardian's email address, and that's completely fine as well. And then you're gonna click save. And then right here, since I already have an account, I'm gonna log in. There we go. So I'm logged in. And then what we're gonna do is that we're gonna go ahead and create a folder to keep ourselves organized. So we're going to go ahead and call it Rocket Kit Beginner. There we go. Now, just to repeat that step, you go here to create, you click it once, and then you click folder, and then from there you can create your name for the folder. So once we create that folder, we're going to click it once. Now, once you're in that folder, we're going to go ahead and click create again, and this time we're going to click document. So click on document. Now, for this, we're going to call it Rocket Kit Beginner underscore your last name and then your first name. Now, the reason for this is that you want to keep yourselves organized and you have everything documented, right? You have your name on there just so you know that you created it, right? And then you have Rocket Kit Beginner because that's what it is, right? This is following along with the kit that you're supposed to receive and then you built the model upon. So we're going to go ahead and create. There we go. Now, once we're in that document, going to you see that you have Part Studio and an assembly. So on our Part Studio, we're going to go ahead and click camera over here. There we go. We're going to go ahead and click rename. Now we're going to rename that Rocket Nose Cone. So there you go. Now we have our Part Studio here. It's blank because we haven't created anything yet. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click Sketch. And this basically creates your drawing board, right? You can start on anything right now. Now, what we're going to do is that we're going to create a sketch on the front plane. Make sure this is blue highlighted. Go to front plane. There we go. You can see I created sketch one. Now, you see the view cube on your top right here. We're going to click once on front. We're going to click once there. Now, first what we're going to do is we're going to, right here where you go to sketch one, you can see my mouse here. We're going to go ahead and click the pencil. Now, we're going to name our sketch Base Sketch. We can ourselves organized. There we go. So it's named Base Sketch. Now, as a reminder, we're trying to create the rocket nose cone. So what we're going to do first is that I'm just looking at my example here that I have on my other computer. Let's see. So we're first going to go ahead and create a rectangle for our nose cone. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go here and we're going to hit center point rectangle or R on your keyboard if you like to use shortcuts. So center point rectangle. Now, once you have that enabled, you're going to go ahead and go to your origin. So you're going to see that it highlights it yellow. You can go any distance you want. It's going to highlight it yellow. Once it's highlighted yellow, you're going to click once and then just pan out. Just go ahead and span out. And then you can go actually before that, we're going to go ahead and click construction and rectangle. So construction line, and rectangle. And then we're going to do it. There you go. Now you have your construction line rectangle. Now what the construction line does is that it makes this it's supposed to help you. So this is non-existent. It's not a closed shape, which means you can't do anything with it but help you. Like you can't extrude it or you can't make it 3D because it's not a closed shape. Now with that rectangle, we're gonna go ahead and make this the the width of it 1 inch, or there you go. And then height, can make it 0.5 or 5 inches. There you go. And then what we're going to do next is now that you have that dimension, you can move it around all the dimension you want to different places. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make another line. I'm just looking at my example here. We're just going to make just grab this point, the Shift S, and just wherever the square pops up. So this is the midpoint. This is the middle of that line, of the 1 inch line. We're going to click there. Just go ahead and click there so we can get it out of the way. And then we're going to click the line tool. You can see L as a shortcut. You're going to go ahead and click it from the midpoint and just drag. Now, how Onshape works is that you can drag anywhere you want to extend the line. But the cool thing is that once you can see that, I'm turning it, and then it turns straight. And you can see little yellow dotted lines. That means it's a constraint. It's going to follow that. It's going to keep on going vertical because it's following the midpoint here. So you're going to go ahead and follow it all the way up. It's going to go automatically straight. Now, what we're going to dimension that line as is 1.75. So 1 3/4. There you go. So 1.75 is there. Next thing that we're going to do is that we're going to make another line. And then this line, we can just make it right here. So you can see that, I can turn it vertical or horizontal and it'll automatically go that way. We can just transfer it horizontal like that. It's going to automatically do that. Now we're going to go ahead and click the point tool again. And then we're going to go ahead and click the midpoint of that again. There we go. And another thing we're going to do is set the coincident. Now, what the coincident does is that it automatically, when you click 2 points, it makes it go to where you tell it to go. So I'll show you in a sec. So we want to click the midpoint. So we click that midpoint. Now we're going to click this midpoint, and it just puts it there automatically. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to dimension this as 0.5. From there, you can see a line, right? Like this is a solid line. This is a construction line. This appears in your sketch at the end of the day. So this doesn't mean anything, but just helps you. The only thing it does is like it helps you as a structure. This is what your actually shape is going to look like. And hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. And then we're going to click the arc tool, the 3-point arc. And then 0.1 is going to be here. 0.2 is going to be here. Now you just want to extend it out, and we're going to put a dimension on it anyway, so you can just extend it out like that. We'll put a dimension on it in a sec. We're going to drag out, and we're going to put 0.625. Oh, it was already at 0.625. There you go. So it's already at 0.625. And then what we're going to do is that since we have that line there, cool thing about Onshape and about CAD programs is that you can mirror things, which means you get to do less work. You don't have to do a lot of work. So there you go. So you can see it did the same thing on the other side, but you need a line in the middle always when you want to do it. Now, you can see it's not a closed shape yet, right? I'm trying to make this a closed shape, and a closed shape is when it's shaded in, when it's completely shaded in. And it's because this is not a solid line, right? This is a construction line. What happens is if I take off the construction line, it shades it in. But if I bring that construction line back, it's going to unshade it in. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off the construction. There you go. It's shaded in now. And then now that that's shaded in, we did our first part. Now the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to make another line, another horizontal line. We're going to do the same thing where we get the point. There you go. Now this time, we're going to just click on the line here. There you go. So the midpoint, this is called the coincident tool, the constraint. And then we're going to dimension this as 0.25, 1/4. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to dimension this. So the dimension tool is one of the most important tools of the whole program. You can use it anyway, everywhere. Now, to dimension this to this, and to do it 0.25. There we go. So you see it's 0.25 distance. So you see there's a bunch of numbers here, a bunch of dimensions, things everywhere. So if you need to organize things a little bit, you totally can to whatever works best for you and how to move things. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take the arc tool again. We're going to go from here, this point to this point, and we're going to pull out. You can see it closes the shape, but what we're going to do is we're going to dimension this. So we're going to 0.313. And then on this side, well, actually, the mirror tool. So we're going to hit mirror, and we're going to click this. There you go. So now you have two sides. And then the last thing we're going to do is that we're going to click the corner rectangle tool, or G, on your keyboard. Now, what we're going to do is that you remember like the constraints thing where it like automatically detects if you're going vertical, like straight up, or straight like sideways. So you can see like the yellow dotted lines, I'm following them. It locks on. Now we're going to lock onto this. And we're going to click there and just lock onto that point. And it closed the whole shape, and that's all we want to do. So afterwards, you always have to remember to hit the check mark. If you hit the X, it deletes the whole thing, right? But you can click restore. So you always have to remember to click the check mark so it saves your work. Always, always. And then we're going to go ahead and click the revolve tool. Now, what the revolve tool is, or Shift W on your keyboard, is that once you click a face, so this is a face right now, right? Let me just hide these. You can always hide. So our sketch is on the front plane, so you can hide the top and right plane if you want. Now, you can see it's not a 3D shape, right? Not yet. Now, to make that a 3D shape is that you want to use different extrude tools. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to click the revolve tool, and that's going to make like a full circle. So what we're going to revolve is this, this, and this. You can do either side, but I'm going to do like the left side. Now, revolve axis. Remember when we made that solid line in the middle? It was for a reason. It was so you can revolve around it. Now, once you do that, it revolves 360 because it's a full revolve. But for example, if I wanted it to revolve only 90 degrees, it only revolves 90 degrees. Think about like a counterclockwise and a clockwise circle. There you go. So I want it to be full, so I can just do the full 360. Now for the revolve one, instead of it being called revolve one, I'll call it revolve one nose base. Keep ourselves organized to know what we're like doing. And now that you have your full nose cone, right? It's one part of your rocket. There you go. Congratulations. You have one part of your rocket done. Now we're going to do some last minute things to it. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is that we're going to make a sketch at the bottom, right? Because we have our rocket nose cone, but we want it to be able to attach to the other parts of the rocket. So what we're going to do is that you can actually hide the front plane too. Now, what this does is that you can see like the eye icon. It lets you unhide and hide things. So it's less confusing in your like world of CAD, like your planes and stuff. We're going to click the sketch tool again, and we're going to click this flat plane right there. So it's going to use this flat plane circle. Now, what we're going to do is that we're going to create a rectangle, a square, actually. Never mind, a square. Now, we're going to use the center point rectangle tool. Just click it again, or R on your keyboard. And we're going to go ahead and click the midpoint of that circle. Click there. And you can just extend it any way you want. You're just going to extend it out. There you go. Now, we're going to dimension it, right? We want to know what size it is. Now, we're going to do it 0.41. 0.41. Now that the width is done, we're going to do the height and 0.41. There we go. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to extrude it, right? You have your square and it's not construction, so it should extrude now. So we're going to go ahead and click the extrude button. Now, instead of being add, so you can see it, if I click add, what will happen is, let's just say like the depth, it's going to go 1 inch down. So now I have this, right? I don't want this. It's a weird shape, right? It's not what I want. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to click remove. And instead of it being 1 inch, I'm going to remove it 0.41. Now you can see, right? It has nothing to remove. It's red. So it's, if I click check mark, it's not going to remove anything, right? There's nothing to remove. So what I'm going to do is like you can click this arrow, so it's going to opposite direction it. So it's going to do it the opposite way. So it's going to remove 0.40 of it. Think about it being like removing material from it. Now you have this. So you have this like little open space here now. One thing that you can do is that you can rename sketches like this. You can click the pencil tool. What I'm going to do is I can rename this by just right-clicking and clicking rename. Now instead I'm going to include this square, extrusion, remove. Just to help you know what it's about. So, because once you have a lot of sketches and extrusions, it can be a little bit hard to know what each one is. Now for this, I'm going to call it square, extrusion, sketch. There we go. So you can see a square extrusion sketch, square extrusion remove. Hey, there you have your little open space there. We're going to do one final thing, which is making this round at the top. Now we're going to go is we're going to click fillet, Shift F on the keyboard. Entities to fillet. You're going to click this outer circle. There we go. And you want it to do, yeah, so 0.12, you want it to be your radius. And that cuts down the material, makes it round, right? We always try to make round corners because we don't want any sharp edges or anything. So that's why we do a fillet. So it makes everything round. It makes it safe for the person or the user using it, but also it can be more visually appealing too. And it just conserves material too because you're losing less material. Now, once you have your final rocket nose cone, one thing you can do is this is your part, and you can rename this too because that's rocket nose cone. And the cool thing is that you can change the color of it too. Now you can pick any color you like. The rocket that you have is probably a specific color. This is just for visual because once you 3D print it or manufacture it, it's whatever color you have available then. But this is just to like visually show what the color might look like. So for example, like if I wanted blue, there we go. Now I can also assign material, but that's another thing that you can do is in this program is assign different materials like metal, plastic, depending on what I want this to be, right? This is going to be plastic in real life, but I don't have to assign it just yet. But there you go. Congratulations. You just completed your first part, the rocket nose cone. Make sure to look for my additional videos in the series of creating the rocket kit beginner. But hope you all enjoyed it and see you in the next video. Thanks so much.